everyone, and welcome to episode 106 of the Super Deformed Gamescast. As always, I am one of your hosts, John, aka at Mr. Megative on Twitter, and we got a great panel today, guys. Are we real quick? Can somebody check and make sure we're good to go on Twitter? Never mind, we're good. Yep, we're good. I see it right now. Okay, excellent, guys. Are you ready to talk about video games tonight?
Yes.
No, I'm not actually.
We're actually going to be talking about politics tonight. I hope you guys are ready.
We're going to be talking about what kind of food we've ate this week.
I'm more ready than you guys. I'm about to pour myself some of this delicious Japanese whiskey.
That's actually sponsored content this week.
Yakuza 6 is in stores next month. The reviews just dropped today, so go read the reviews.
I'm going to make myself a drink and drink it in the official SDGC mug.
Oh, that's hot.
There we go.
That's sexy.
There we go.
That's sexy. Rub it on your chest before you go. No?
I like that he didn't do that in the 10 minutes before.
Oh, there he goes. Yeah, I like it. Oh, that's good. That's the good shit right there, man.
Oh God.
All right, no, it's good. No, just go with it. Anyway, so we have a friend joining us tonight because we got some members of the podcast who are missing tonight. Sam Tolbert from the Inner Circle and a budding games journalist in his own right. Sam, you're a friend of the show. You have been for a long time, so it's always good to have you on.
Yeah, I mean, everyone here who's a regular knows who I am. It's always fantastic to just shoot the gaming crap with you guys and get to real talk at the same time.
It's
awesome. Let's get.
Is it fantastic?
It really is. It really is fantastic in its own unique way that can't be explained. It is something to behold.
All right.
But no, it's fantastic to be here, guys. It really
awesome.
Is.
Okay, awesome. So we'll go and kick it off tonight. I think we're gonna kick it old school, and we are going to start with what everybody's been playing this week. And Jay, as always, you're going to be our timekeeper. Why don't we? Oh, there's Finn. Finn's back. Why don't we start with? You know what? Let's go ahead and get Brandon out of the way, because
I've been playing something.
Brandon, so Brandon, why don't you tell us all about for 3 minutes what you've been playing this week?
I don't know if I can talk about Puyo Puyo Tetris for 3 minutes.
Brandon's been playing something different. That's the thing.
Holy shit! This is the moment.
Some people may never have heard of Puyo Puyo, but everyone knows Tetris.
What are your thoughts on that, dude? Because I fucking love Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah, I was gonna say, has anyone here not played Puyo Puyo?
I haven't.
Any Puyo Puyo game before?
I've played the one that came out on PlayStation last year.
Yeah. Puyo Puyo Tetris, I guess, put out by Sega, and it was it's a combination of fucking Tetris and Puyo Puyo. So two different puzzle games like mixed into one, which is a pretty unique concept. I can't really think of a lot of games that have like tried to merge two different puzzle games into one. I haven't fucked around with every mode in the game. They get pretty creative with the way that they combine the two games. The mode that I've been enjoying is what it does is it'll switch back and forth. So you're playing, it's a battle mode. So remember like Tetris Attack had a 2-player battle mode where like if you would do combos, it would send garbage blocks over to the enemy sides.
Yep, absolutely.
And it would mess up their combos and stuff like that. So it's like that, but so you're playing a game of Puyo Puyo and a game of Tetris at the same time against another player. And every 30 seconds, it'll just keep like, I don't know if it's like 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
You're playing Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine?
Yeah. I never played that because I didn't have a Genesis.
Well, now you can play it soon. The Sega Genesis collection coming on the Xbox One, the PS4, and Steam PC.
Yeah, I had Genesis in the 90s. Who gives a fuck about Genesis collections? I don't understand. But anyway, I guess I'm just less morally opposed to ROMs and emulators than like most fucking normies. I guess
I'm okay with ROMs and emulators.
I don't know. Yeah, like who would ever buy a fucking Genesis collection when you can just fucking download ROMs?
Exactly.
But anyway,
actually,
what do you do with it? Like they're usually
you get all the achievements in it, of course.
Yeah, okay. I do understand achievement whoring.
Yeah, I live on the legal side of life, so no ROMs here.
I'm sorry.
Zach likes to obey the letter of the law. Zach is lawful good.
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine though? Because I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
It was basic Puyo Puyo Tetris, but with a Sonic skin over it.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
And one of the boss fights in Sonic Mania is actually that game against Dr. Robotnik. It's so fucking cool that they decided to include that.
Yes. That was really awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I love that little. Brandon, and let me ask you this. So, like, I love Puyo Puyo Tetris, right? Like I have it on Switch, and I played about 40, 50 hours of
Yeah,
it.
I've been playing it on Steam. Same game. It's on everything right now.
I know there's a puzzle fighter on iOS,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is that's not good enough for me. This really made me want a brand new console puzzle fighter.
Yeah, Puzzle Fighter's badass.
What the?
Yeah, I don't know what that was either.
What
Who
is that?
doing
That is the timer tonight.
I was
Fucking
like,
Christ.
what the
I want off
fuck
this
am I
podcast.
hearing?
Oh,
Do not repeat. Do not go over time. For the love of all that is good.
Was
Oh
that
my
was
God.
that Goofy?
That was actually, yeah. I was really confused for a minute. That was fantastic. I'm glad you didn't. So, like, yeah, that's something you need to keep doing, Jay. Just like switch the timers up every time and don't tell us what they
I
are.
didn't even fucking talk about the game. I think I said the words Puyo Puyo Tetris a couple times and that was about it.
Maybe next time, Brandon.
My phone started playing another song like out of the blue.
Okay, so
That
Jay,
time limit thing is retarded.
Jay, you want to go next?
Oh yeah, I can go next.
Go ahead.
Let me start. Yeah, cool. I've been playing Assassin's
Oh, I'm
Creed
sorry, your
Origins.
time's up, dude.
How about this? How about this?
I've been
After Jay goes, we're gonna give Brandon a minute or two to talk about the game.
Okay, cool. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins. I feel like everyone on this podcast has played it at one point or another. Ubisoft, please sponsor us soon.
Oh, Marcel, please, Marcel. Hook
Yeah,
us up.
I feel like all of us play Ubisoft games at this point, and like I don't know if that's a good thing or
This is
it's
this
a
is an
it's a good
official
thing.
Ubisoft podcast.
I mean, Zach's bought Rainbow Six for like 3 consoles at this point.
Every
I mean, like,
platform it's allowed on.
yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins is fun though. This is the first one I've played since the second one. Though I wish it was called like Creed Origins instead, because there's not really a lot of assassin in the game. Like you can sneak around, but it's more of like a Witcher 3 light kind of game than anything else. It's a fun game though. I like it. The aesthetic for it's really cool. I like the whole Egypt setting, and yeah, I like all the side quests because side quests are
Have
fun.
they changed up the combat mechanics any, or is it still like basically some sort of Batman combat?
Actually, it's almost Dark Souls, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of Dark Soulsy. It gets easy if you're over leveled though. Like I'm over leveled right now.
Yeah,
so-
that's any Ubisoft game. It's really
yeah.
easy.
So like it's like I'm just going through enemies right now.
Yeah.
I've been playing Wipeout Omega Collection because
Ooh, good choice.
I'm a huge Wipeout fan.
Good choice.
Yeah, I converted to the digital copy since it was on sale this week.
Those games are so
or the
fucking
past
hard.
weekend.
They're so hard.
Yeah, I mean once you get good at it, it's not hard.
Maybe
Though I will admit that I think it's Wipeout 2049. That's the FIDA one. I think that's the hardest out of the 3 games
yeah, I
in
would
that
probably
collection.
agree with that. Yep.
Yeah, because I got stuck on that one. I went over to like Fury or HD or whatever, and it was so much easier. And I guess the last game I want to talk about is I bought this game on my phone today called Florent. If you don't know what Florence is, it's a indie
I've
game
heard of
about
that.
love. It's a love story. It came out on the Android last week, I think, and I finally bought it today. I played it during my lunch break, and I cried. It's really good.
Shit.
Yeah, it's really good. It does more with less. There's really no dialogue in the game, no like voice acting. It's like all visual, and there's minimal like gameplay aspects to the game, but like yeah, it's really good. It's only $3, so I highly recommend that.
Yeah, you're,
Awesome.
you're not the first person I've heard mention the game. Actually, I've seen it. There's people talk about it all over Twitter.
Yeah, and it's published by that one publisher that I think they published. Yeah, they published Eden Finch, I think.
Oh,
Okay.
Annapurna, right?
Yeah, Annapurna. Yeah, it's published by them. So like, go buy it. It's $3 on your phone. It'll take you like 30 minutes to play it. And my time's up. I'm not going to play the video again, so I'm going to do a.
That's pretty good. Wow, that's actually
That's
probably
actually
the
really
best-
that's
yeah.
actually really good. Like
Yeah, so
You
I'm
realize
gonna do that.
Person, so
Yeah,
it
I'm gonna
wasn't
do
as
that.
awkward as
Wow.
hearing this random ass sound effect. So,
all right, all right, so I want to give Brandon another chance to actually talk about Puyo Puyo Tetris. So Brandon, go ahead, dude.
yeah, like I mean, it's like fully featured as far as like they have a lot of different modes that kind of the way they combine the 2 games. So, but I've only given like really the one like the battle mode a chance. I've been playing against AI, and like I said, like every 30 to 45 seconds, it'll swap the board. So you'll go from playing Puyo Puyo to go in and play, and it'll resume back to where you were. It'll like pause the one board and put the other one up. and you just keep, and it's a battle mode, so you're doing combos and sending garbage blocks over to the other side, and then obviously it's the first person to lose either one. So like if someone loses Tetris, then they lose that round. If someone loses Puyo Puyo, so you're balancing two different games at the same time, and it's like there's like a little, and it goes fast enough that like you're never getting comfortable in one game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's like 30 seconds. You're playing Tetris for 30 seconds, and you play Puyo Puyo. And it reminded me a lot of, I used to play a lot of Tetris Attack battle mode back when I was a kid, and with the sending the garbage blocks over to your opponent, that's pretty common, I guess, in puzzle game battle modes. But... And it makes me really want a new Luminous.
Oh,
really
good. Oh, I love
because Luminous
yeah.
is the best puzzle game ever made.
It's up there, dude. I would agree with you. I had Luminous on my Vita before I fucking broke my Vita.
Luminous on the Vita had like the best soundtrack.
It did.
That's the one I played the least of. I played the most of one. I played a lot of two, and I didn't play much of the Vita one.
This is gonna sound really bad, but I've never heard somebody say Luminous out loud before, so I've always read it as Luminines.
Is it Lumens? I didn't know how to pronounce it either.
No, it's Luminous.
Yeah,
it's Luminous.
Yeah,
I think it is Luminous. I haven't heard somebody say it out loud in 10 years.
Okay.
It's Luminous.
I used to think it was Lumines.
Well, it hasn't been relevant in 10 years, so.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll tell you what though, Brandon, real quick before we move on, that would be a perfect game to have on the Switch. Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I would fucking
Luminous
love.
on the Switch would be so good.
It made the PSP launch. I remember.
Yeah, it absolutely. It was by far the best launch game.
And you could also say that about 90% of games they would be fantastic on the Switch. But...
That was when Luminous came out. It came out right next to Meteos too on DS, and those were just like two amazing puzzle games that came out like right at the same time.
All right, well, why don't we move on to fuck it, let's do Zach.
Yeah. So I've been playing Siege as usual, and then Bloodborne.
Oh man.
Getting back into it. John and Sam have been carrying me.
I wouldn't say carrying you.
I wouldn't say carrying either. You're actually letting me. You let me experiment. You let me die a lot, which is.
Are you the Robin to his Batman?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There have been a few times, Zach, not to bump in Zach, but there have been a couple times I've been like, Zach, stay here. I'm gonna run in and take care of this. Like,
yeah, it really has been like that. But I mean, it's been nice to revisit. I played it maybe 2 years ago, and so it's been nice to kind of get back in. And for people who don't know, it's free on PlayStation Plus right now, and so the community is really alive. And so John and I were taking care of some invasions together, and like that was pretty fun.
Oh, we were ganking people. It was great.
Yes, it was very good. But of course, the other night, Sam joined us and we played for a while too. Took on a couple bosses. But then also, just because it's been so damn popular, I've been trying to play Fortnite. It still hasn't really clicked with me the way PUBG did initially, but because it's so popular, I just keep playing it to try to catch the mania.
I mean, I certainly prefer the military simulator aesthetic of
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what does it for me.
Because I'm sitting on my couch, like the way Fortnite controls with a gamepad is just night and day over PUBG.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the gameplay. What's that?
Much more accessible.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, Drake even plays it, so.
Yeah.
I saw that. I watched.
God's plan.
600K viewers. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's it for me.
That ninja dude. He has like what 300 and what? How he has. Like 300,000 subs or some insane shit number. Like
Warrior like posted a gif of like all the people that were like subscribing to him last night, and it was like insane. It was just like
and that's the crazy thing. Like you thought
like what $3 per sub every month.
You thought
Fortnite that stream is gonna do, if you don't mind, John.
No, please.
And Adam Boyes, formerly of PlayStation, put it perfectly. Everyone is now going to scramble. They're going to assume that the magic combination is celebrity plus streamer. It's no longer just get a streamer. Now you need to pair them up.
Yep.
You're going to start seeing a lot more celebrity. Actually, Fortnite's up in their own game, and they announced at E3 there's going to be a battle royale with 50 celebrities and 50 pro streamers.
Yeah, I
all
saw
played
that.
at the same
I-
time.
This is like it's like the early 2000s all over again.
I
Hey,
don't,
man,
I don't know. I
actually
don't know
gonna
how I feel about
out
this.
of
To be
a party
perfectly honest,
bus?
guys,
What?
I don't know how I
Are
feel
they
about
actually
Robo,
going to
John,
parachute out of a
Robo.
party bus?
I have no idea. All I know is that you're going to start seeing a lot of multiplayer focused games start having celebrity and streamer partnerings.
Well, I mean, that's kind of already happened, right? Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched.
Destructoid over here.
I don't know if you guys ever watched Conan O'Brien's Clueless Gamer stuff. He used to be real, and this is my fear, right? Like it used to be hilarious when he was doing it with Aaron Blair. Like it was fucking hilarious. But then he started bringing celebrities on there, and it just got stale and stupid because these celebrities have no idea what they're doing. Conan has no idea what he was doing, and I don't know. I didn't think it was all that good. But
Well, this near ending what ending this is 18. It's going great right now.
Yeah, John, you're botting very hard, but you can't do anything about it because you're in the stream.
yeah,
This podcast is Route G.
podcast is so good.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, no, it's crazy to see this, and like we've seen people like EA try this before, right? Like EA did this with Battlefield 1. Like, didn't they have Snoop Dogg playing it at E3 a couple years ago?
Yeah, they had Snoop Dogg, Zac Efron, and
That's the one where he was playing with a joint hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a big
Yeah.
one, yeah.
It's different than
Yeah.
having these like
A blunt.
canned celebrity
Whatever it was.
cameos at press events.
It is a
Yeah.
little different.
Because
Yeah, you're
now they're going to actually make part of their PR and marketing plan. It used to be reaching out to influencers to play your game, and that was the most important thing. Like, hey, we got PewDiePie, he's going to play our game, or insert streamer here. Now it's going to be, we need this streamer, and to entice them, we're going to pair them up with this celebrity. It's
Yeah,
going to be,
there's gonna be
it's
a
not
lot
going to
of
be
that.
like, hey, look at this pan shot of Snoop Dogg playing at E3. It's going to be, they're actually playing together on Twitch.
I, for one, can't wait for Lil Dicky to play Genital Joustin.
Oh, first of all, I love Lil Dicky.
I don't, but
Oh,
like
man.
just the names like went well together.
Mm. True.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
who
that's
wants
my
who wants to go next?
Let's do. Am I still botting?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right, I'll see if I can fix it. Why don't we do Finn next?
Okay. Cool.
I can go real quick. I've only been playing Assassin's Creed Origins because I came into it late. I finally decided to play it, even
Great
though it's
game.
been sitting in my backlog for a while.
Great.
I just finished the game proper. Like the story mode is now complete. I'm making my way through all of the question marks and completing the map 100%, and then I will have my platinum in my very first Assassin's Creed Platinum.
First of all, good
Isn't
luck
this
with
the
that.
easiest one to plat of all of them though?
Is it? I have no idea.
I think it is because they don't require like 100% synchronization.
Well,
or
even
whatever
if I
for this one.
needed it, I would have had it.
Oh,
But
there you go.
I am very excited. I have just been cracking out on it, and I think it's my favorite cast of characters in an Assassin's Creed game. Bayek and Aya are easily my favorite protags in the series.
Real quick, guys.
Ezio who?
Am I still botting?
That's all I got.
100%. Yeah, agree.
Is that Zio a hot daddy? I don't think so.
No, but Bayek is. It's like.
Am I still
Bayek,
botting, guys?
Am I right?
Bayek, I think.
No, it's
No, but
Bayek.
he's making a
Bayek.
joke.
Bay- is it
B-A-E-K.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Now nobody can hear me.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's all I've been playing. I just finished it last night. I have one more region to sweep, and then I'm done. The whole everything but the DLC.
Nice.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I've been taking that game slowly. Like I can't play every day because it gets like too repetitive after a while. But like it's nice to like sit down and play for a couple hours, like every other couple
I
of
don't know what
days.
it is about me with open world games, but I never feel that repetitiveness when I'm clearing out the map icons.
Yeah, no, it's just a really relaxing game. I guess I don't want it to end.
Does everybody here in the
Anyway,
Can we
podcast
pause
hear
for a
me?
all I
minute
need.
if John's mic's working. He seems to be struggling.
No,
John,
everybody else can hear me.
can we hear you, bud?
Why don't we pass it over to Sam? Because I'm done.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sam, what
you're-
have you been playing this week?
Oh geez. Okay, so like Zach and John had been saying, I've been playing a lot of Bloodborne. I mean, I was going to be playing it anyways with the Return to Yharnam community event that's going on, but they gave me a great
Mhm.
excuse. Geez, I can't talk about that game too much. It's a fantastic game. Best game on the PS4 in terms of PS4 exclusives, in my opinion. It's just phenomenal.
Wait, are we talking
Should
about
abso-
Horizon?
No, we're talking about Bloodborne. We're talking about the best one.
Ratchet and Clank.
And dude,
Ratchet and Clank?
no, we're talking about
Oh,
the best
wait,
one.
Gotcha.
Anyways, so it's been fantastic returning to that From Software game, which is going to be interesting leading into one of our topics later. I've also been getting back into Halo Wars 2, which I recently picked up one of the story expansions, and 343 has done a really good job with Creative Assembly of supporting that game. They added it to Game Pass, they've added a ton of new leaders, new story missions. It's really, really good, especially because there's just a drought of quality RTS games on console. So if you're into that sort of thing, I highly recommend you try it out, even if else. Oh, I've also been replaying Quantum Break for a piece that's going to be coming up for the Quantum Break 2nd anniversary on April
Can you guys
5th.
hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yes.
can.
Yes,
There
there
we
we
go.
go.
Awesome.
Just in time,
All right.
John, because I just
That
finished.
game's been out for 2 years now.
Somehow.
Yeah, April
Wow.
5th will be its 2nd anniversary, so I'm writing something to commemorate that.
Great game, by the way.
It is ridiculously underrated.
Yes.
Okay, and I think it's whose turn is it now? Jay? Or no,
No, John.
Jay's already got. It's my turn. Okay, hey.
It
all
is
right.
your turn.
It's your turn, John.
So okay, let's go. So I've been playing a few things. I've been playing Breath of the Wild. I'm on my second playthrough of Breath of the Wild because I fucking love that game. I've also started a new playthrough of Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle because that is a fucking superior Mario game. It is the third best Mario game ever made, and fuck the haters. I don't care what you think. Just an incredible game. Jay, shut your mouth. Oh god, what else?
Fantasy 6 was number
What-
43 on the list.
Fuck you.
Anyway, I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
I will.
I have also been playing a lot of Splatoon because I love me some fun. It's been Finn. I'm talking, Finn. It has also been it's been a Switch week for me because I love my Switch. It's my favorite console this generation, so I've been playing. I got all the moons in Super Mario Odyssey as of last night. Finally, I got them all. It took fucking forever because there's so many games coming out that I want to play, but that's like a combined 60 hours in Super Mario Odyssey, and I will do a second playthrough of that. And a funny story to end it. My son, he's 9 years old. He'll be 10 in April. He's got a Switch, and he lives with his mom, and he got in trouble for lying on Sunday. So it's like, okay, your Switch is gone for a week, right? It's gone. So his mom takes it away, right? What he doesn't realize is that I can see him when he's online, right? So like Monday night, he lost on Sunday. So like Monday night at 9:30, I was playing Super Mario Odyssey, and then all of a sudden I see Jaden. His name is Jaden playing Minecraft Story Mode, and I was like, really? Like, huh? So he'd snuck into the closet, grabbed his Switch, and quietly went off to bed and was playing it, I guess, under his blankets or something. So I called his mom and I was like, yeah, Jaden is on his Switch. And so she burst in there, she's like, oh, and he's like, oh, no. And
That is next level snitching.
yeah, he's like, oh my God. And I was like, bud, I know when you're online. Okay. Like that's how this works. Okay. It's so like now he knows that he can't hide from dad. So he's terrified, right? He's like, Daddy, do we have to be friends on Nintendo? I'm like, yes, we do. Yes, we do. And
Is
there a way in offline mode? Is there a way?
Yeah, is there offline mode on the
there,
Switch?
there is, but he doesn't
He
know how
can
to
never
do it.
find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not gonna know how to do it. So yeah. But yeah, that was actually the best gaming related thing that happened to me this week, just because
That's a pretty badass moment, actually.
it was pretty good. It was one of the most dad moments I've had in a long time. Because I don't like yelling at my son, but at the same time I'm like, hey, you little shit, like I see you playing your Switch. Son of a
Like, hey
bitch.
there, son, you're in trouble.
I didn't really call it a little shit, but hey,
I hope
That's-
you did not.
I might have thought it.
As a 22-year-old,
Super Deformed Games Cast.
Don't ever
Wow.
do that again.
it's so
Please.
bad.
It's so bad. Don't ever do
I
that
want
again.
him to do it again, but I want his video to be on. I need to see his face.
Yeah, like that needs to be the consolation prize. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we'll go ahead and jump into our first topic for the night. So I am sure that everybody has been aware of the and we talked a little bit about this last week about the meeting between Donald Trump and members of the video game industry, and then so the White House puts out this, and I'm talking like the official White House YouTube account, which I didn't realize that was even a thing.
Neither did I.
They put out this video, and it just says violent games footage, right? That's all it is, violent games footage. And then with no context or voiceover or background music or anything, it just launches into several minutes of violent clips from video games. And everything you would imagine was there. There was video from Sniper 4 or Sniper Elite, and there's Bulletstorm and Mortal Kombat, and there was Wolfenstein, and just all kinds of Fallout. Somebody getting his head blown out in the VATS mode in Fallout, and of course No Russian was there from Call of Duty. But and honestly, what struck me about it was I was like, we're talking about these games are bad. Two of them involve killing Nazis, which are the most vile villains in human history. So
Sniper Elite and Wolfenstein.
Good job, dude.
Yeah.
But what? So an organization called Games for Change, and I've got an article right here. Media actually says it's still up on their YouTube account. It's unlisted, but it's still there. But Games for Change, and I'll quote some of the article here. They released a video under the hashtag Not All Games, and they said, when the Trump administration dragged video games in front of members of Congress and the games industry, we didn't expect anything more than what it was, a transparent attempt at scapegoating and skirting the real issues this country faces. It's nothing new for games, which have been dealing with the anti-video game crowd for decades, but maybe this could be the industry's chance at self-reflection anyway. And then they go on to say that Games for Change, which is a nonprofit focused on empowering creators to make positive change with games and technology, released its own short reel to showcase what it described as a different view of games, right? And it's that I want to talk about tonight, because I understand what they're trying to do and I sympathize with it, but I think there are several glaring problems here. So if you look at the video, and I highly recommend you do, it has everything from Link riding a horse to Journey. I think Journey was in there. Ori and the Blind Forest. I remember seeing Ori and the Blind Forest in there. Ellie petting a giraffe in The Last of Us, which if you're including The Last of Us in a montage of calm, peaceful video games, I don't know what to tell you.
They found the 30 calm seconds of footage in that entire game.
That's why that moment was so unique and special.
There was right.
Anyway.
There was Horizon Zero Dawn was in there, and Aloy was watching a herd of machines in the sunlight. I had a lot of problems with this, and I want to start by just making it a group discussion, right? This is anybody jump in. First of all, does anybody feel differently than I do? Does anybody think that the hashtag Not All Games video is a good idea? Because that's allowed. Nobody's going to criticize you for that. Does anybody think this is good?
Well, what do you mean? Okay, so the context is obviously not good, but I like the idea, everything around the concept of showing the. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it almost unintentionally it's a good counter because it shows just how easily you can rob something of its context to make a point.
To an extent, I mean, the intention was altruistic. There's no denying that. It's just.
I don't really think it's necessary. Is there actually people that think all video games are Mortal Kombat?
Yes, there are.
Everyone knows Pong
unfortunately,
and
yes.
Tetris and normal. These video games that are just games. They're not, they're not murder simulators. You're not fucking shooting anyone's head off. Everyone is aware of those games. So who are they trying to convince that not every video game is violent?
So here's the thing, right? My problems with this are exist on different levels, right? So if you look let's say you're a parent, for example, and this is just one example, and anybody jump in and feel free to interrupt me with another one. If you're a parent and you're watching this, right? Let's say you see Ellie petting a giraffe, and that's all it is. It's just Ellie petting a giraffe, right? You think to yourself, oh, that's nice. It's like some kind of zoo simulator, or it's this young girl petting a giraffe. It seems calm. And then you actually pick up the game for your child, and 99% of the game is Joel sneaking around bushes and buildings, brutally fucking murdering people, because that's what he's doing. I mean, you're talking about a game where the level of detail in the deaths of your enemies is so great that when you're choking them, if you turn the camera on, they're slapping against Joel's arm, their eyes are rolling back in their head, they're gurgling, they're gagging. This is I mean, what this Horizon Zero Dawn can be a violent game in itself. You're fighting. Not only are you fighting dinosaur robots, you're fighting human beings, and there's nothing wrong with any of this. Like it's a medium, and it's each one of these are designed to tell a story. And I said something about this on Twitter the other day. I don't. You guys tell me what you think about this, but I don't think the focus should be whether or not games are violent. Like we don't need excuses, and we don't need video reels telling us that not all games are violent. We know this. We know not all games are violent. Well, I think the discussion we need to have is why the games are violent. Because for not for all games, but for most of the games, especially shown in that trailer, there's a story behind the violence.
Right, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, the violence exists as a prop to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And even the games where violence isn't the point, like Ori and the Blind Forest, that is a beautiful game. It's one of the most beautiful, in certain areas, calming, tranquil games this gen. It's still a game that deals with heartbreak and growing up and the maturing, from a child into something more. And it deals with very strong themes that I feel, however good the intentions were, that kind of video cuts down on those themes.
Yeah. Can I make a quick hot take?
Yeah, no, please make it hot.
I think that if people want to make comments about video games and violence, I think a better commentary than the video the White House put together, and this is a hot take, it's gonna upset some people, would be to just take the entirety of the PSX Last of Us 2 trailer. It's the full trailer.
Yeah.
And there's zero context, and it's brutally violent. Because that's what everybody thinks video games are. Is that trailer?
I was just about to say that I saw you mention that in chat.
Yeah, I think that is so much more inflammatory. Even though Russian, of course, if I were.
I don't think it's fair to say that everyone thinks video games are like the Last of Us 2 trailer. You have Minecraft is the most popular game and one of the most popular games.
No, 100%. All I mean is that the White House's point would have been harder to refute if all they did was show a trailer.
Right.
So it wasn't a hard cut, if they just showed.
Okay, yeah, now I understand what you mean.
Yeah, I think a better way to say it would be not everybody thinks that all games are violent. I think there are definitely people, and you've seen them on the news recently, who think that games have no redeeming qualities whatsoever, and there's no conversation to be had about it. I think that's a more accurate way of putting it.
There are certainly a lot of people that think they're just a pure waste of time.
Exactly.
Regardless of content.
Yeah.
But,
well, and
I don't think it's reasonable to think that all video games are violent. Unless you're 100% pure ignorant. But who has never heard of non-violent video games?
Of course.
Video games can be many different things, so it's.
Kirby, you eat monsters alive. That could be considered violent, right? Because it's
in Mario, you're taking over people's minds.
Yeah, it just seems like in probably 9% of the games that are developed, there's some form of violence. It's cartoon violence, or it's realistic violence, or it's just simply Mario jumping on top of a creature and it's squished. It's still considered violence.
Well, but again, I think that the violence in these games, even if it can be repellent, that's the power of the medium, right?
Yeah.
Like the power of these games to make us react in that manner, which is why I thought the Last of Us 2 trailer that Zach was referencing was so powerful. What was it disturbing? Yeah, it was. Was it uncomfortable to watch? Yeah, it absolutely fucking was. But I also thought that I thought that it was probably an incredibly real, accurate depiction of what a truly lawless society with no consequences for your actions would look like. So in that regard, I think it was probably a success. I mean, did the trailer go places that game trailers usually don't go? Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like I feel like those are boundaries that were bound to be pushed at some point. And not that we would become desensitized to it, but I feel like once we accept that we can see the same kind of experimental imagery in games that we do in movies. I think Mother is a good example by Darren Aronofsky, right? Like Mother was an extremely divisive film. I saw it. I didn't care for it, but I understand what the movie was trying to do, and I don't think it's long before we see a game try something similar. And I think The Last of Us 2 is inching us closer and closer to that. But again, I agree with, I think the White House video could have just been that trailer.
Isn't that why the Postal games, when they originally came out, were like so like criticized? It's because there really was no point behind the violence. It was just a violent game.
Yep, exactly. So I think that, you know, Games for Change, I understand what they're doing. I sympathize with what they're doing because, I mean, let's face it, it does feel like this hobby, this medium that we all enjoy, whenever this happens, it comes under attack, right? We're taking slings and arrows from all sides. Everybody here knows, I mean, you know, the studies have shown and proven that there's no causal link between violence in the real world and violence in games. That is something that is not up for debate. And, you know, somebody asked me, I was having this conversation with somebody at work who does not play games, and I'm glad I remember this. And they said, well, John, you're sitting here saying that, you know, violence in games doesn't cause violence in the real world, but I have heard you say, tell me, or within earshot of me, say that you would not let your son play something like Call of Duty, or play something like play something like Wolfenstein, and I said, well, hold on, you're right, but it's not because I believe that the violence in the game would warp his mind. I don't think that for 1 minute. Even at 9, I am confident that my son can tell the difference between the digital world and the real world, right? I don't want him playing that because he's not, and I don't want kids playing that, not because they can't handle it, or not because they'll try to mimic it, but because they're not mature enough to understand why you are carrying that action out.
Exactly. They can't understand the weight or the gravity of the actions in a mission like No Russian, for example. They don't get why that's so harrowing.
Exactly.
I remember playing Vice City when I was like 8 or 9, and to me, you know, it's just like, oh, this is a game where you just kill people and do all this bad stuff. But like as I got older, I kind of realized like the GTA games were like supposed to be like a satire like version of America. Yeah. And like, you know, with the violence in those games, it's like mocking America. But like as a 9-year-old, I didn't realize that. You know, as a 9-year-old, like I think, oh, I just need to kill all these people.
Well, I mean, the first. Because my introduction to GTA was like the very first one, and there wasn't much context or even really much parody.
Yeah.
So I like the parody was something that came out more of GTA 2, the satire. GTA 2 got into that a little bit, and then it was when GTA 3 came out that's like, okay, they're leaning as hard as they can into this American satire.
Yeah. And you know, like, I don't know. Minnie actually makes a really good point in chat. She says, I think greater community, or I think community interaction, especially toxic ones, will have a greater effect on kids to a far greater degree than just playing violent video games. I agree. Kids, and people in general are more likely to mimic the actions and words of another person than they are anything carried out in video games, right? Like, I don't think anybody with a rational thought in their head.
Yeah, most people play their games online nowadays too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
social games.
And like streaming's popular. Like I know more kids that probably watch streams than actually play games themselves.
Yeah, either they're watching YouTube VODs or they're watching Twitch.
Yeah, so I mean, like like they're picking up on the actions of like those those content creators, those like like they're basically like like they're acts for them, but like they don't really know if it's an act or not, so like they're trying to replicate it, or they're like it's like a role model to them.
Well, know, like
I'm just looking right now. Ninja has 107,000 viewers right now, like just playing Fortnite normally without Drake or anyone.
And the thing with Ninja is a hard person to be critical of because he is not like people like Dr. Disrespect or
he's just being himself.
He's actually a good, positive person, and so like I don't have any problems with that. But like I would much rather, and I said this in the chat, I would much rather have a kid play Fortnite and even with all the implications, all the violence in Fortnite, than listen to a half hour of PewDiePie. I just think that's so toxic for kids.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Well, like I really want to give an example of what I mean when I say, there's a difference, because I think this is important. People, kids especially, I don't think need to be playing these games until they can understand the meaning behind something or the meaning of that action. And I really, really want to tell you guys what I mean. I think the example I want to use, and the example I used on Twitter, was, again, The Last of Us. There's a moment do the beginning of The Last of Us, when you're Joel and you're sneaking up, you're in a warehouse and you're looking for a guy named Robert, and you're sneaking up and you're outside this window and you see some thugs inside, some bandits or whatever you want to call them, and they're standing around talking, but instead of saying like oh, we're gonna kill, hey, we found a bunch of survivors, we killed all the bitches, we made the men our slaves, we took all their shit, yeah, it's great, what they're talking about is, hey, I haven't heard from my cousin in a really long time, and she's just a little girl and I'm really worried about her. I hope she's okay. And it caused like a moment of fucking moral panic for me. I was like, fuck. I was like, these, fuck, this guy's just worried. Yeah, he's not talking about going to raid a village and enslave the women and kill all the kids and take all the loot. Like this is a guy who's worried about his little cousin. Like shit. And then, but the only way to progress is to go up and kill him. Like I killed him. Joel killed him, and that moment stuck with me almost the entire game. And do I believe that my son or any other kid his age, do I believe that would turn him into a psychotic mass murderer? No, I don't. But he's not old enough to understand the meaning behind that, or why it, or like Sam said, he's not old enough to understand the weight of that action. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because what a game like The Last of Us represents to me is what you have to do to stay alive, and I know Brandon can relate to this as well. That is something that I can tell you right now I have had to do, and it is a heavy decision. And when I see this portrayed in games, it is always incredibly moving and weighty to me. And the mind of a child just is not mature enough in my mind until a certain age to grasp that. You guys, I don't know. Do you guys agree or?
Yeah, I follow.
Okay.
As a general rule, I mean, some kids are going to be more mature earlier than others, but at the end of the day, it takes them a while to get to that point, that just comes into parents needing to guard their children, to be parents for them.
Well, and I have no. Zach, go ahead.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna say anything. I totally. And the only thing that just stuck with my head is like exactly what Sam's saying. Parents have this role, and so does the ESRB or the MPAA for films. I mean, like, and it's not the pod, like, it's not our fault, but like the fact that we're having this conversation is silly, right? It's just.
Oh, and here's the part that sucks. We're going to have it again, at some point in the future. It's a conversation. Sure. It's going to happen again and again and again.
I mean, the thing is, like, John, you're a parent, and you also play video games, but like most parents that buy video games for their kids probably don't play games. So, like, maybe the parent should do more research,
As you can see behind me, I'm the fucking cool dad.
Yeah. I totally know that you're drinking Japanese whiskey because you're, promoting Yakuza 6, which is in stores next month, by the way.
Go buy it.
But like the thing is, like, you go into stores and you see these kids like begging for like the newest Call of Duty, and they're probably like 8, 9, 10 years old, and the parents are like, "Oh, okay, I'll just buy it for you." And then like this happens, and then like the parents are like, "Oh, it's all the violence in the video games," and it's like, well, you bought the game for your kids. Like, why didn't you research this beforehand?
That is why parents should play video games, so you can make informed decisions on what you're playing.
It's kind of like, like parents are using video games as a babysitting tool, but like they're not putting any research or effort into these babysitting tools.
Mm-hmm. Once something like this happens, they're like, oh, well, like, it's video games' fault. It's like video games are the reason why my kids are violent, or why they're bullies in school, or why they're getting in trouble. It's like you could have prevented this.
Anyone that's worked at a video game store or GameStop or anything knows that you can tell a parent all day that this is rated M for these reasons.
They're not going to care.
They don't care. They'll buy it anyway.
And the parents don't care.
Yeah.
I've heard the full gamut of reasons, but at the end of the day, these ratings are there for a reason. But if parents willfully ignore it, those are the same parents that'll turn around and complain that the games are too violent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like, violence is relative, right? Like I have no problem with my son playing Fortnite because it's cartoony violence. There's no blood. There's assault rifles and stuff, but it looks like you're playing like a World of Warcraft with guns. Like, that's the art style, right? Like, whereas I would have a bigger problem with him playing Call of Duty because it is it's a military style sim, and I just, I don't think it would warp him. I just don't think he's ready for that.
Yeah, I don't think I was actually allowed to buy an M-rated game until I was 14. So I had to wait a while. And now it's because I bought my own Xbox 360 with my own money, so my parents thought I was responsible enough to play GTA 4.
Yep.
Aw.
Oh.
That was probably you probably felt so good about that too.
I did, yeah, but like I don't know, just yeah, I don't know. Like I was always jealous of kids who play M-rated games, you know, like early. But like maybe I should be thankful now that I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day we can all agree that not all games, while the intentions were noble and we sympathize and understand with what they're doing, there are better arguments to be made there for the because I guess we'll close on this, right? Like if you're I guess the very name itself, not all games, to me implies that there are a problem with the violent games, and I don't think there are.
No,
Exactly.
there isn't. So.
Can I put one more comment on this?
No,
before we close
please.
the topic? I just, at the end of the day, and this goes as a general rule of everything, not just this topic, but it particularly applies here, don't fight misleading information with misleading information.
Yes.
Fight it with facts, fight it with truth, fight it with just showing things for what they are and why they are the way they are. And this attitude that is facing games right now will cower away from it because it doesn't want to deal with logic or facts. Regardless of what you think about certain issues, at the end of the day, it wants a scapegoat. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
I'm telling you right now, my PAX panel with Dave Grossman next year is going to be lit. It's going to be amazing if he shows up. Okay, so we will go ahead and move on. I think our next topic of discussion tonight was going to be Microsoft. And so here's the thing, right? Like I was kind of trapped in my office all day working, and I don't know. So there was some news that hit, and I'm not smart on it. So Zach and Jay, if you guys or Zach, Jay, and Sam, actually, you are our Xbox guys. So if you guys could kind of spearhead this and lead it.
Yeah, Zach probably knows more about this than I do. So if you want to lead it.
Sure. So yeah, this year Microsoft will still have a presence at E3, like usual, which is a floor space, and then they're still going to have their presentation press and fans. But they're also going to have a huge presence at, I think it's called the Microsoft Theater. It's a basically a venue.
It's their theater.
Yeah, it's their theater. It's technically off-site, but it's huge. And so that's kind of where I think they're going to have a lot of their demos for people to play. Another big thing that they talked about was a big mixer presence. We don't have a lot of information right now about why they have such a big mixer presence, so maybe we'll see some of that at E3 about why they're making a big push for it. But one of the things that I found so interesting about this was this, just like EA and kind of Devolver Digital to a lesser extent, are publishers stepping away from E3 as being the big show and just kind of having their own thing off to the side where they can kind of control the environment. I think it's interesting to see E3 and what is considered E3 kind of work over the last couple of years.
Yeah, to build on that, it's very interesting to see. We're seeing publishers very, very slowly but very, very steadily pulling out of E3, building their own brand, building their own thing, for lack of a better word. I mean, the Microsoft Theater is right there. You can throw a stone and hit it from the E3 building, so
Yeah.
It's not like it's going to be difficult to get to. That's where they're going to have a lot of stuff. And this is just a small little funny thing. When the floor plans for E3 first leaked, it really amused me how all these people on Twitter and Reset Air were going on about how Microsoft barely had a booth compared to Sony or Nintendo, so clearly they were pulling out of the industry and all this stuff. And it just amuses me to see these people who are never actually going to be there talking about that. And then it actually turns out that Microsoft is going to have their largest floor space ever because they're renting out an entire theater. So, I mean, obviously,
if you think about it, like out of like the three console like makers, like Sony is really the only one that really has like a traditional like E3 presentation still.
Yeah.
Like because Nintendo does their like all pre-recorded now, and you just go play demos, and now Microsoft's like doing their completely own thing. Like yeah, there's so many like probably games to play like on the main E3 floor, but like they're doing like all their stuff like in their own space.
Well, let's expand the conversation a bit then, right? Because everybody has been saying for a long time that E3 is on the back nine, and
yeah, I mean, it kind of has been. I mean, like like
very slowly but very steadily.
So do you guys think this is the next nail in the coffin?
until Ubisoft or Sony. I think the next time a big publisher backs out and does their own venue, it'll be pretty significant. I think Ubisoft or PlayStation needs to back away first.
That makes sense. You know,
Or
like
Bethesda, since they've been going there
Yeah.
in recent.
Well, but isn't Bethesda already like technically before E3 even officially starts?
sort
Yeah,
of.
but technically all of them are. Technically,
Yeah.
E3 is a 3-day conference, and these publishers and console manufacturers just call it their E3 conference to get the hype going. Technically, none of them actually present these shows at E3 or
Mhm.
on the days of E3.
Sure.
It's work.
Sure. Okay.
It's technical stuff.
Okay.
But yeah. So I mean, it's going to be interesting, regardless. Going back to Microsoft a little bit, if they're renting out this theater, you would think that they have to have stuff to fill it with. So it makes you wonder what they're going to be bringing to bear this year. But I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of excited about the whole like, you know, like there's like a big presence on the Mixer like content, because like maybe they're gonna try to like emphasize like, you know, trying to stream like all like their content this year at E3.
It's possible.
Zach,
you know.
I'm sorry. I just saw a couple people in chat, Zach included, said bring back Robo John.
Yeah, we want your robotic voice. But yeah, no,
but, I mean,
I think Mixer's going to be huge.
Yeah, but I mean, I said this in our official SDGC Discord channel this morning that like, you know, like people always give like a lot of flack to Microsoft because like at the first party games, but like in terms of like consoles, like Microsoft's like it's been like ahead of the game business wide, and I feel like this is like the first step for that. Like, I feel like them like trying to have like their own. I feel like them trying to like have their own show, so somewhat at E3s and be interesting. Like them just having like probably just playable demo booths will probably be interesting, and like, you know, I feel like the Mixer, like the big presence of Mixer at E3 probably means they're probably trying to do like, you know, almost like all day live streams of like, you know, whatever they're showing off.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's where you're getting your numbers now, and I mean like that's
Right.
probably to be honest kind of why E3 is dying, because like most people just like want to watch this stuff online. Like, you know, you don't. This isn't like the early 2000s or the 90s anymore, where you have to like wait for E3 to be over before you find out like what happened E3.
Well,
Exactly.
Like,
Well,
Exactly. There's not as much of an emphasis. I just want to say this really quick, John,
please,
on
please.
journalists being there on the ground getting info you can't
Yeah.
get anywhere else. Now, Nintendo does it with their directs. You can just broadcast it directly to people. There's still
Yeah.
advantages to meeting in person that you're never going to get over, but it's not as strong as it used to be.
Yeah, and to be honest, like last year of E3 opening up like the whole floor to the public for the day kind of shows they're probably trying to head towards more of like a convention like area rather than like, you know, like a professional conference area.
And I think Jay, I think you're absolutely right. Like I think that they know public now because it feels like there's less of an industry demand to be there. And like just like what Sam was saying, like I think that like for the past couple of years I either live tweet or live blog E3, and it is so much faster and easier for me to just be planted in one spot all day and be able to crank out updates and provide news when it's happening, rather than having to haul ass and move past other people who are just trying to do work.
Well, and
It's easy to do from home now.
well, and that's the thing. Like I wanted to bring that up to Sam and ask, because Sam, you've been to E3, and ever since they opened up to the public, I know people who have been, and they say it's just a fucking shit show.
I can tell you, like, this is not secret information. Like, I had to plan out. I specifically went to the center the day before it opened because only press could get in the day before it opened, and I memorized all the rooms I knew I was going to have to go to and practice the pacing. Because if you did not know exactly where you needed to be, if it was your first time, then holy crap, it was ridiculous. Getting through the lines was a nightmare. Everyone I talked to some guys from Techland. They said that it was a logistics nightmare just moving people around trying to get stuff done.
That sounds
Yeah.
bad.
I
because-
remember last year Kotaku sent Tim Rogers to E3, and there's literally like a 10-minute video I think of him just like waiting in line to play Super Mario Odyssey, and I think he waited like 2 or 3 hours like overall. And it's just like
Yeah, they didn't give, unless you had an appointment, they didn't give preferential treatment to press. Unless you had an appointment, like I got to see a special showing of Days Gone behind doors or things like that.
See,
yeah,
that
like,
was
I mean like
Out on the floor,
that
no
was
way.
the nice thing about PAX is that and Finn, you know, Finn and I and Maddie were there last year, and we'll be there again in a couple of weeks. But as members of the press, we were allowed down there for you know, but like, you know, before the crowds were gone. That's where Finn and I first played Pyre, actually, and that was good because PAX fills up, and once everybody gets down there, man, it is a fucking slog.
And they did take our criticism. They did take our feedback to heart because we're getting a couple of press exclusive hours every day now.
Yeah.
That's good.
This year we're going to get like 2 or 3 hours each day before everyone else can get it.
No, I mean, you need it.
Hopefully that alleviates the pressure.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I just feel like at one point, like, you know, like more than a decade ago at this point, probably like 2 decades at this point now, like 3 was like the main like field game event, but now you have like all these other like conferences throughout the year. You have Nintendo doing their own thing. Nintendo like surprised everyone. They're like, hey, we're doing a direct in like 2 days, and they announced probably their biggest game of the year.
I love the directs, and I love how they do them. I love the
I
hype behind them.
mean, Microsoft is now doing like their Inside Xbox thing in America.
Did I miss something? What's the biggest game of the year?
Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it's Smash Brothers. What is the biggest game of the year?
I mean, I said Nintendo's biggest game of the year.
Oh, Nintendo's biggest game of the year. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know, Microsoft just started doing like their Inside Xbox thing. PlayStation has their PlayStation Experience every year. You know, like there's like there's so many different ways to like broadcast your games or like announce your games or show off your games now rather than like in one conference.
Yeah, but I feel like the Inside Xbox thing was just a huge missed opportunity for Microsoft, right? Like, I feel like they could have made that their PSX. And instead it was just like a big, I mean, from what I saw and from what I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw some of it and I heard people talk about it, and it was just mostly one big advertisement for Sea of Thieves.
Because I mean that's their biggest game that's about to come out, and it was also the first episode.
First party IP, something that people have been begging for a long time, and it drops in 5 days. I understand them hounding it, and I'm not saying they don't need to improve it because I have a laundry list of complaints about things that they can improve. But I think inside Xbox they are headed in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
However many blind steps it takes them to get there, they are now facing the right way on the compass in terms of that layer of transparency, moving towards a Nintendo Direct style thing, even if they never quite get there.
100%. And like, and some people have pointed this out, and I think they're a little bit right. But like, one of the things that I thought was really funny was Inside Xbox again was a lot of Sea of Thieves information, which was interesting to people who don't know anything about Sea of Thieves. But again, if you're watching an Xbox stream at 4:00 Eastern time on a Saturday, you're probably a pretty big Xbox fan anyway. And so it just felt like a weird rehash. And then on Monday, they turned around and they announced State of Decay Collector's Edition that was nowhere to be found during Inside Xbox.
Yeah, it's like, what? Come on, you could have just announced that there.
Right, and then shown it. But, you know, like you said, and like all of you have said, really, it's a good first step. And because we've had, you know, years of great directs, I think we expected Microsoft to come out and mimic that because it's so effective. And instead they were like, hey, let's look at some fanboys' comments on Twitter and also Sea of Thieves. It was weird, but it'll get better.
I mean, to be fair, those people, it's not like those people know. They're just searching through hashtags.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm not dogging. I don't particularly care about like showing Twitter shit during a live stream.
Well, like, here's the thing. Like, honestly, like, I like the way Nintendo does it best with the, you know, not just with the directs, but with the spotlights. You know, the treehouse. Yeah. You know, Nintendo gets out there. They've got 30 minutes. They're like, here's our games. There's no filler. There's no bullshit.
And it's, you know, it's rapid fire. It's just boom, 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 one after the next.
Exactly. It shows just enough to get people hyped. And the way they announce these things is great. Like, hey, by the way, tomorrow we're having a direct, and we're going to tell you about all these new games. We're going to tell you about some games you already know. And it gets people fucking excited because, you know, just people like, oh shit, you know, like, fuck, we're getting a direct.
I feel like excited is underselling how much people get hyped.
It gets a little dangerous, actually, how hyped people get for it.
Yeah, I mentioned this in last week's episode. Like, Nintendo's really going like the Beyonce album release like route, where like they just like announce like your direct in like a day or two.
Yeah. And
they're like, oh yeah, by the way, this game's come out in like 3 months. So like, yeah. Like they don't like announce a game and you're waiting like 2 years. They don't announce like a show and you're waiting like a month for the show. They literally announce the show like a day or two before, and like it works for them.
Yep.
Yeah, I fucking love it. And as a result, it makes Microsoft and Sony's presentation seem weaker in my opinion because it's broken up by, you know, Sean Layden or Phil Spencer coming out to talk about, you know, hey, you know, we're doing great things with Microsoft and PlayStation. Like, I want to know about the games. I want to know about the services. Like that, but then again, maybe I've been spoiled by what Nintendo has been doing.
What, you're not looking forward to somebody from PlayStation coming out this year and announcing that you can change names to 5 minutes of clapping.
Let's face it. Let's face it. That's not going to happen. We're never going to be able to change our PSN names at this point. It's fucking
The
ridiculous.
only thing
I think it's going to happen, and I think people are going to be way too excited for a feature that should have been there forever ago.
Yeah,
I'll
no
split the
shit.
difference. I'll split the difference with you two. I think the only thing more depressing than the fact that it's taken them this long to implement a basic feature that first-year Java students understand is the
PSN
fact
is
that they will get a
overtainable.
10-minute standing ovation if
Yeah.
they do somehow pull it
Yeah,
off.
people
Like, their service has gone into memedom now, where, like, literally it's just a joke, and so once they finally answer, people.
I will say that I fully expect backwards compatibility to be announced for PS4 this year at E3.
I don't. No.
I do.
Oh, that's actually less likely than the
PS5.
name change.
No,
Given
after
the
no,
sell-
no,
The PS5
no,
to the PS4, sure, but
I don't know. We'll see.
We're not getting PS3.
We'll
it
see.
ain't happening.
We'll have a predictions episode. We should move on.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's move on to Smash Brothers. Let's talk about Smash Brothers. So, unless you've been living under a fucking rock, and I know nobody on this podcast has, nobody in our chat has, because we are all informed gamers. Smash Brothers is coming sometime this year, most likely launching on top of Nintendo's paid online service. And if I was a betting man, I'd bet two things: one, we will find out the release date at E3, and two, that release date will be September, when Nintendo's online service launches. But one thing nobody has really talked about is, well, nobody on this podcast anyway, is what we're hoping for Smash. I'm a huge fucking I'm a Smash Brothers fanatic. I played every single game. I've probably put about 300 hours into every single game. So one, what do we want out of Smash Brothers? Is it a new game? Is it a port? And what kind of characters are we looking for? What kind of stages? I think there are a lot of opportunities here. Because when did Super Smash Brothers Wii U come out? It's been a hot minute.
2014.
2014. So that's
Wow, has it been 4 years?
yeah, it really has 4 years, and a lot has happened since then. So why don't we start with you know what? Let's start with Finn. Finn, what are you hoping for out of Smash Brothers, man? Characters, stages, modes, because there's so much to unpack.
Well,
Finn's ready.
there's a lot that I expect and there's a lot that I hope. My big hope is that now that we've got confirmed that Link is the Breath of the Wild Link, I hope he's actually a new character rather than just a reskinned regular Link
With
Breath
Link's
of the Wild
regular
clothes.
Twilight, or with his moveset.
Yeah, like I would actually greatly prefer having classic Link, the one we already have, and then Breath of the Wild Link, who plays entirely differently with the champion magic and his glider and guardian arrows. There's so much they can do with it that's specifically
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild. And it's the same with Mario. I want Cappy Mario in it. There's got to be some
Cappy Mario is a
integration.
given. Cappy Mario is a given, man. You're gonna get
What?
Cappy. I think you will absolutely get Cappy. Period.
Oh yeah, but the problem is, there's so much that they could do specifically for Odyssey Mario that I want there to be a separate classic Mario. That's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
Instead of these clone characters we always get that are just reskins, I'd rather have actual differentiated characters. And in terms of guest character, I don't even know. Like, do they still have the rights to bring in Mega Man, Pac-Man, Sonic, and all of them?
Oh yeah. Mega Man's gonna be there. Pac-Man's gonna be there.
I want Simon Belmont.
Somebody in chat mentioned that. Brandon, what was that?
No, I just agreed with them. Simon Belmont would be a good character for Smash.
I agree.
I Castlevania.
Oh, sorry, my mic was up. I
And
was
you know
just
what?
saying I agreed with them that Simon Belmont would be awesome.
I think he's long overdue too. A character
There's
like
one
Simon
more
Belmont.
person that I really think should be in this game,
Who's that?
and that is Captain Ness, the game master.
Oh my god, that's
Captain
fucking
N.
old school. Captain N, dude. Holy shit.
I want
With
him
his
to have
fucking
his
power,
NES
yeah.
Zapper.
Yeah,
As
the
a
Zapper gun. Yep.
I mean, why not? Just have fun with it.
Okay,
Bring in-
so if you're gonna have fun with it, one, you need Eggplant Wizard from Kid Icarus, right? Bring in fucking Eggplant
instead
Wizard.
of Dark Pit, get rid of Dark Pit and
Wait,
bring in
hold on.
Eggplant Wizard.
You know what Smash really needs? A sentient power glove.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's it. Just nothing, no hand in the glove, just a sentient power
That'd
glove.
be an amazing final boss, actually.
I mean, it's kind of like a ripoff. They already had Master Hand. in,
But
like,
dude,
the
that
first
would be a
game.
great replacement for Master Hand. And his little tagline could be like, it's so bad. That could be, dude. Oh, that would be so meta. Fucking
There's a Sega fighting game for the Saturn called Fighters Mega Mix, and literally
Yeah,
one of the characters is the Daytona race car.
Is
So
it-
imagine the glove fights like the race car does.
That's so good.
But like,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like if you want to have fun with it, bring in like not even obscure, like Ridley. Where's Ridley? Bring in Ridley. Ridley would be an amazing fucking character for Smash Brothers, right? Or
Or like an item. Ridley could be like an item.
Now bring in Adam, and then if you play as Samus, you can't do anything unless the Adam.
You know
character
what?
tells
Do more with Smash or not Smash Brothers. Do more with Punch Out. Not don't just have Little Mac. Bring in like Mr. Sandman
Soda Popinski.
or Soda Popinski, dude, or like fucking Super Macho Man or something.
They
you know,
can
like-
keep Glass Joe.
Yeah, and like if you want to talk stages, like what if you had a stage that was set in Hyrule with like Breath of the Wild Hyrule, and you had guardians in the background trying to zap you with your lasers at the same time, or you had like
That's
fucking,
cool.
or you had like
I like that.
yeah, or like you had fucking like corruption spreading on the ground, and you had to jump up and try to avoid it while you're fighting other players. Like that would be fucking sick. I mean, there are so or like an ink stage. Like I hope when they do Inkopolis, you'll be able to. There will be ink on the floor that you can like slip on or duck into. I mean, just man. I mean, the possibilities are so fucking endless. Like, if you want to talk about
yeah.
fun,
And you know they're gonna bring an ARMS character. They got.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be-
100%, yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
it's gonna be. I'll tell you right now, it's gonna be Springman, but I want it to be Twintel.
I want it to be Helix.
You know what character I think is gonna make the cut this time? I think we're gonna see Banjo Kazooie.
No, we're not.
Ooh.
Phil Spencer said back in 2014 he'd love to see and lend those characters back to Nintendo. And if it's not happening, I think people should call him on that tweet, make some reference, because that would be incredible. Also Solaire from Dark Souls, if we're gonna do the amiibo.
Absolutely, yeah. Solaire has to be there.
That would
Solaire,
be hilarious.
I actually think there is a high fucking possibility that Solaire is going to be in, and if that's the case, give me a fucking Undead Berg stage, and I will be the happiest man.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
That
Has-
Undead Berg would be, or Blighttown, and like just have the whole stage run at 15 frames a second in the background. Like,
That
No,
off
don't do
Emtech
that.
feel.
Don't do that.
Like you have two power ups on that level. Like one like actually makes the frame rate stable, and the other one makes it like 2 frames per second.
Dude, I gotta give Ian credit in chat. He's Shovel Knight.
Yeah,
I think
Shovel Knight would be awesome.
Shovel Knight's a
bad.
given,
Yeah.
actually. I think that is, now that I think about it, I think that's a fucking certainty.
Yeah, I mean, I think any character that has a standalone amiibo that's only been for one game will probably get smashed.
Shovel Knight would be, dude. Shovel Knight would be fucking amazing.
For me, I just want to see more Mother characters, Earthbound, from any of them. Like,
well,
I mean-
wasn't Porky was a boss in?
Wait, oh, was he?
Yeah, he was
That's
a boss
cool.
in
I
Super
see,
Smash
that's
Bros.
something.
Melee.
Well, yeah, I want to see more Earthbound, anything.
What about? Oh, and by the way, who was it? Kogasu in chat, Julian. He said Ridley's too big. Actually, use Ridley's model from the original Metroid. He was just a little bigger than Samus. So use that one. But oh my god, now I'm thinking about Shovel Knight in Smash Brothers, and it's so fucking perfect. That makes
Yeah, Shovel Knight would be great.
that makes perfect fucking sense. Bring back the Ice Climbers. Where are the Ice Climbers in fucking Smash Brothers? The Ice Climbers.
You're the only person that cares.
I
No,
do
you can't
care.
bring the Ice Climbers back because they said the only reason they didn't put them in was because of 3DS limitations, and they
You
didn't want to have different
know.
rosters across the games.
You know.
So-
Or what about this? What about characters from Wonderful 101?
only if
No,
they bring
too far
back-
gone.
no.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think that's too obscure?
That game's just too niche.
Now,
Yeah.
if anything, if they were going to bring a niche character in, they'd bring someone from their new Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like a
Oh
Rex
yeah,
Miner.
dude. Well, I think it's a guarantee that Rex is going to be in there. I think
But I
Rex
wouldn't
is.
want just him. I'd want him to be linked with Pyro.
Pyra and Mithra are going to be in there
Like that
too.
too.
Pyra and Mithra will both be in there, and you'll be able to switch between the two of them.
Yep.
They'll be interchangeable characters. Yep, absolutely, absolutely. And I also think, here's another thing. I think this is a given, but you guys tell me what you think. I think you're going to see the return of 8-Man Battle.
What? I thought 8-Man Battle was in the Wii U version.
I don't think it was in the Wii U version. Was it?
Was,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was because you could play up to like 10 people in the same
I
battle.
see.
I think.
Okay, so maybe I'm remembering this wrong because I thought 8-Man.
It's not in the 3. I don't think it's in the 3DS version.
it's not. It's only in the Wii U version.
Yeah, it's only in the Wii U version.
'Cause
Okay.
I remember my friends and I had a huge 8-player like tournament battle thing to celebrate the release of the Wii U game.
So here's an interesting question, actually. If Rex is in there, what does that mean for Shulk? Is Shulk still in?
I think
Yeah.
Shulk can be in. If we can have 17 Fire Emblem characters and 57 Pokemon, then we can have 2 Xenoblade.
Oh, Fire Emblem is another. I mean, there are so many good Fire Emblem characters that you can
I do
include.
not want more Fire Emblem characters because they're all the same. Down B counter sword people. Like, branch out.
Jay, what were you gonna say?
Okay, so I would like to point out, first of all, I don't really care about Smash at all. Like, I don't find the games
So
fun.
bad.
Like, I liked Melee growing up. You know, I was like in elementary school when it came out. I didn't play Brawl because I didn't own a Wii. I tried playing the Wii U version. I found the Wii U version absolutely boring. But my idea for guest characters in the new Smash game, which I think will also be a brand new game, Square Enix really loves the fact that they have Noctis in Tekken 7. And Disney wants in on the Smash money. So they put Sora, Goofy, and Donald Duck in Smash Brothers.
Oh,
Huh.
yeah, but
God.
no Kingdom Hearts games are on a Nintendo system.
I don't.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, no, there are.
there are. Yeah, Dream Drop Distance and
Yeah, there's a
and,
lot. There's a lot of the DS
I
ones.
was thinking console, yeah.
I don't know. So like
Like,
I think it's far more likely. So I think you're onto something, Jay. I think it's far more likely that another Final Fantasy character would make its way into Smash than like Kingdom Hearts characters. Like for example, like Finn said, if you want to get fun with it, like draw from some of the old, and they probably would never do this, but draw from some of the old Super Nintendo RPGs, like Kefka or Terra or Locke, or bring some Magitech armor in there, or
Bring in
Cecil.
Chrono
Like,
from Chrono Trigger.
Chrono would be amazing. Chrono would be fucking.
that's never going to
awesome.
happen.
It'll
so.
never happen. It'll never happen. But that would be. But oh god, how.
I mean, like here's the thing about Smash. If Cloud can be in Smash, anybody
That's
can be
true.
in Smash.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I mean,
true.
I mean that's what I'm
Because
saying.
Final
And,
Fantasy
like,
VII. No,
the
that's a great
barriers
point.
were broken.
and Disney's like all about making money, and like if you had like Donald Duck and Goofy like in a Smash game, that'd be like a hit,
I just saw
like a huge hit. Like imagine playing some Monster Inc.'s Goofy in a Smash game.
So, I don't know. Like Brandon actually, Jay. Brandon makes a good point. Cloud is not it. Final Fantasy VII
Any
never made its
Nintendo
way to a
game,
Nintendo
yeah.
system.
They can do whatever they want with Smash. Here's the thing: Smash.
Like
is a
you have to
20-year-old
remember Solid Snake was in Brawl.
Well, hold on. I want to let Brandon finish his point.
Like Smash is a 20-year-old series at this point. Like it is an old series, and like honestly, and if they, I loved the idea that the first game was just your favorite Nintendo characters. It satisfied those schoolyard arguments of my favorite character would beat my other favorite character in a fight. But like the series is 20 years old, and I think that in order to keep it increasingly relevant, just keep broadening the scope. Just like keep allowing, just like it doesn't have to be just whatever they just let your imagination run wild with whatever combinations of characters they can put in there.
Well, and Brandon,
whatever licenses whatever the agreements they can come to with companies
Well,
to
and
license these characters out. Like,
so Brandon, let's take that a step further, right? Like Smash Brothers is already near the top of the Amazon sales charts, and we don't even have all we've got is a fucking logo for it. This game is going. This is probably going to be one of the. It will certainly be the highest selling Nintendo game all year.
like put a
period,
fucking
right?
Minecraft creeper in
People,
there. Like,
there will be companies asking Nintendo, "Hey, can we make a deal to get?"
yeah,
our
that
characters
like
back?"
I feel like at this point when Smash is 20 years old, like just it doesn't have to be like the Nintendo Club anymore. They should just like try to get as many characters from other franchises as possible, and just make it like a celebration of video games
That's such a
entirely,
great
not
idea.
just Nintendo games, but just like video games.
Someone in the chat mentioned Geralt for Smash. I don't think that
Why
will
the hell
happen.
not?
That
Why the
won't
hell
happen,
not?
but what will happen is when Soul Calibur inevitably gets a Switch port, Geralt will be on that.
You guys know what to do. Everybody get on Twitter. Talk to Randy Pitchford. # put Duke in Smash.
Duke for Smash.
God.
Do it. We didn't get Duke in Battleborn, but god damn it, we're getting Duke in Smash. We've
Duke
actually
for
got Randall Pitchfork on the podcast with us right now.
Yeah, Randall Pitchfork. Yeah,
Randall Pitchfork.
yeah,
That's
Randall
gonna be
Pitchfork.
Jay's. That's gonna be your alter ego, Zach.
Yes, yeah. I mean, if they're
Randall
gonna put, I mean, if they're willing to put him into Bulletstorm, they obviously are ready to put him into Smash.
Oh, you know what?
I want the ball from Kanmari Damasu to be in Smash.
There will absolutely.
Just
sorry,
default
Jay.
That's
though.
funny too. Yeah.
There will absolutely be a rabbit.
I mean, really, I just want the king in Smash.
You guys know there's gonna be a fucking
or
rabbit.
the king
I
of all
mean, if there's a rabbit in Steep, then yeah, there's gonna be a rabbit in fucking Smash.
I mean, look at you know what? Put Bowser Jr. in his fucking mech suit from King of Battle.
Okay, I was gonna say Bowser Jr. is already in the game.
But or you know what? You know, should you give Kirby his fucking Robobot suit, his mech suit from Planet Robobot? That would be fucking incredible. But there was actually there is going to be either a Rabid Peach or a Rabid Luigi or a Rabid Mario or a Rabid Yoshi in Smash Brothers. You fucking know it. You know, like a Funky Kong. Put Funky Kong in Smash 2 and just make the whole thing easy mode. How
about Shaquille O'Neal from the new Shaq Fu game?
From the new Shaq Fu?
Yeah, because it's gonna be on the Nintendo Switch, so this could work.
What about put Saki in Smash?
Saki, baby.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, let's just do character creator. Come
We
on.
need Saki. No, but honestly, I am. Smash Brothers is like I have not been this excited about a game in a long time because I am a huge Smash Brothers fan. And like, you know, before it was announced, I knew it was either going to be I was like this is either got to be Fire Emblem or Smash. And I think Zach, you and Finn and I, when we were watching it, like we all knew. I think as soon as the Inklings came on, we were all like, okay, yeah, like this is clearly Smash Brothers. Like it's, you know, these are the Inkling designs from Splatoon 1, not Splatoon 2, and they're now going to remaster the original Splatoon. So this has to be Smash. But like what a great way to reveal that too. You know, like with the logo and the Inkling's eye.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was so good. It was so fucking good. And,
I was actually watching that stream and I was laughing my ass off because like the last thing like they were like showing was like the Splatoon DLC and you guys were like, oh.
We were like, oh man, right,
for like 5 minutes and all of a sudden you guys were like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was ridiculous. And can I just point out that I hope Bowser is wearing his wedding suit in Smash Brothers.
Oh my god, yes. Mario Odyssey outfits for everyone.
Give everybody their Mario Odyssey outfits. Absolutely.
I want to see some Super Mario RPG characters.
That would be awesome, dude. Like put
Gino.
Smithy.
Obviously, Gino would be the coolest.
Gino.
Or
I've been
Mallow.
waiting for Gino for so long.
Gino actually makes perfect fucking sense.
Yeah, Gino would be awesome with his little finger cannon.
His finger cannon, and you know, Smithy would be a good character.
Hey, how come nobody's mentioned Funky Kong?
I did mention Funky Kong.
Yeah, we already
John.
mentioned Funky Kong.
I mentioned Funky
Okay,
Kong.
I've apparently
Funky
been
mode
checked
will
out.
be there. Absolutely.
No, fuck that. Put Cranky Kong. Put Cranky
Hell
Kong in
yeah!
Smash.
Let's just put the whole Kong family.
I think we should.
Lanky
I think we should put the host from the Guy game in Smash.
Yeah, that douchey
All right,
asshole.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh, that'd be yeah. You know, fuck it.
Leisure Suit Larry's actually like a good game series though. Besides like the last couple of them.
That is the hot take. I think that people will remember.
That's the hot take we needed
They're
tonight.
not bad point and click games if you like avoid the
They're not bad.
sexual stuff.
If you just ignore
So like
all
the
the porn.
3 scenes.
Yeah.
I love how Jay just gives this awkward yeah. Like,
You can buy the Leisure Suit Larry games on good old games now.
All right, I got it. You
Jay's
ready?
like shit. Nobody agrees with me. Fuck. why
I
would
know the
bring that up?
best surprise guest character who's actually from a game that was originally closely associated with Nintendo.
Good.
Bring Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 4.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Which version of Leon Kennedy though?
Resident
RE4.
RE4?
It's got to be RE4.
The hot one, of course.
The hot one. It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 4 is the hottest game character of all time.
I need to see the research on that.
No.
I will write you a research paper right now.
No, I mean, obviously the hottest game character of all time is probably, I don't know, I would say like Aloy or, yeah, I don't know. That's my pick. But we're not talking about hot game characters. We're talking about Smash Brothers.
Hottest game characters.
We're talking about Smash
Okay.
Brothers. This podcast is going off the rails.
Okay, wait. Can I just point out Ian in the chat is quoting Jay saying, "I don't like Mario, but Leisure Suit." Oh.
It coming from Ian. Coming from Ian, that's a burn because Ian, as we all know, doesn't like fucking anything.
I actually I like how in the
I
chat
love you,
now like,
Ian.
everyone's like discussing. I like how everyone's discussing what the hottest Resident Evil character is now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all anybody's talking about now is the hottest Resident Evil character.
Yep.
All right. Well, guys, I mean, we're hitting the hour and a half mark. I think we pretty much covered it all.
Yeah. How about that Tomb Raider trailer?
Oh yeah, the Tomb Raider. Yeah, that's another conversation we'll have in April after
We'll
we see
wait till
more.
the actual reveal.
Yeah,
to talk
well,
about
yeah,
it.
let's wait for that one. Oh, I want to point out real quick before we go. The From Software game. I have this on good authority. The From Software game coming up. Well, one is definitely not Bloodborne 2. It's multi-plat, and it has an even larger horror focus than Bloodborne did. So that's all I know, but we'll see what happens.
Please be excited.
I would love it if it actually was that Aztec themed Souls game. That was
given
rumored.
that incredibly brief CGI teaser we got, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought. Yeah.
Well, and just imagine like a Souls game based like if you want to regain your whatever the equality of humanity would be, like you're crushing a heart instead of like a soul. Like I mean, there's so many cool, crazy horror possibilities you could.
Well,
do.
yeah, and like Aztec Mayan themed corrupted bosses, like giant Quetzalcoatl-esque creatures, or
Yeah, or like some kind of blood god, or
It's just Neo 2.
Neo 2.
I would really love like an Armored Core like Souls-like game.
That would be cool.
Yeah, hell yeah, Max.
Yeah.
Let's do some-
Don't we already have that in the Surge?
Or a new like Kingsfield is just basically Dark Souls in first person.
I agree. I would love a new Kingsfield, Jay, but I don't think we're ever gonna get one again.
Yeah, you could play Internal Reign on the PS4 for like $10 if you're in the mood.
Why would you do that though? All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. I have just a couple quick ending notes. On Sunday, I'm going to be bringing back the support class podcast for gamers with mental illnesses. So if you're like me and you have generalized anxiety, or if you have if you suffer from PTSD or depression or OCD or anything like that, I and others know how difficult it is. So if you want to join us at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, that's going to be either a weekly or a bi-weekly thing. I haven't decided which one it's going to be yet, but it will be regular. I feel like there was a lot of value for that. And Finn, you're going to be on there with me. And Justin, our newest member of the Gamescast, might be on there as well. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to get... And also, he probably won't be on Sunday, but Dr. Rafael Bocamazzo, who is Dr. B, a friend of mine. I was on a panel with him last year, Finn. And he is a clinical psychologist, and he is on the board of directors at takethis.org. He will be volunteering his time as well to appear on the podcast and give some advice on mental illness and how to cope. And things coming up. We got PAX coming up in a few weeks. So please don't forget that I'll be on a panel there, and I'll be helping to host the game show night.
JT will be there too, right?
JT will be there as
panel?
well. Finn will be there. Maddie will be there. Yeah, no, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a really good time. And who knows? We may have some stuff cooking for E3. Who knows? Who knows, right? Like anything could happen. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But at any rate, guest's gonna be on the show soon. We got Megaran coming on. If you guys don't know who Megaran is, he's a great hip hop artist. You guys should go check him out. And that's all I got for now. Does anybody have anything else before we leave?
Yeah. First of all, thanks a lot, Sam, for coming and hanging out tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if,
guys,
I don't know if John touched on that.
I wasn't going to
your
because
time.
I don't appreciate Sam the way you guys do.
I appreciate the fact that Brandon played something else besides Overwatch.
That's what I
Strike
appreciate.
this week.
Yeah, true.
That was the
do you mind if I
true. That was the true bomba of SDGC this week. The true bombshell
That was
was
the
Brandon.
exclusive reveal.
That was
That
great.
the
Yeah,
real
that was really
exclusive
good.
reveal.
Yeah,
Sam,
Do you
Please say
mind if I
something.
do?
Brandon?
I was just gonna say, do you mind if I do a quick?
I should do
Please, go ahead. I'll go to Brandon in a minute. Please, Sam, where can people find you?
I was just going to say, I mean, people can find me at Samuel Tolbert on Twitter. I write for the Inner Circle Gaming Network, and I just wanted to drop something really cool. We actually have an interview going live tomorrow at either 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're interviewing Craig Duncan, the studio head of Rare.
Oh, great.
So please come check that out.
That's
cool.
Lots of really cool stuff talking about Sea of Thieves roadmap and maybe even trying to probe him about what's next for Rare.
Probe.
Does Sea of
Oh,
Thieves
you're gonna
come out
ask? Are you gonna?
tomorrow?
Okay, don't actually probe him though.
Banjo
No,
Fury.
no.
It got weird.
Very cool. That's
got
very
weird.
cool.
When is
And I'm
Sea of
very
Thieves coming
excited
out?
for that.
Yeah, that was really cool though.
Okay, it's next week.
Next
Tuesday.
Sea of Thieves drops next week. It'll be very interesting to see where that falls in the review scale.
It's gonna be huge on Twitch because the beta was pulling in insane viewer numbers.
It is going to sell a lot better than I'd initially thought it was.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I really underestimated
Pretty
it.
much impossible for it to fail at launch at this point.
With
I
Game
think,
Pass, yeah.
It's going to be one of those,
especially with Game Pass.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those games.
It's going to depend on the content.
Yeah,
it's going to depend on the content.
It's going to live. It's going to live or die based on support. Yep, absolutely. Sam, dude, as always, thank you for being here, man. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You know what does come out tomorrow is Burnout Paradise Remastered.
Actually, what does come out tomorrow is Kirby Star Allies, which I'll be picking up.
Kirby's
Burnout Paradise Remaster sounds like a much better game.
Kirby sounds like a Kirby game.
They're both good in their own ways.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I cannot.
Sure.
I love Kirby games because, and right now I just need something calming that I can blaze through and something beautiful to look at. So I'm gonna go. Pick up Kirby.
I don't blame you. So.
But anyway, guys, as always, it's not always poetry. We don't always agree, but we always keep it real. So until next week, take care of each other, and we will see you later.
Our list was not a lie, by the way.
Witcher 3
No,
has
absolutely, we do not
combat.
stand.